So thou, O son of man, I have set thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, thou shalt hear the word of my mouth, and warn them from me.
Have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather expose them.
Coming to you from an undisclosed location in Middle Tennessee and examining current events from a biblical perspective, this is Bible News Radio with your hosts, Randall and Stacy Harp.
Okay, hey everybody. I want to welcome you to this episode of Bible News Radio. As you all know, I am your very sweet and lovable host. Well, most people, maybe not everybody. But if you happen to be one of those who don't know actually how sweet and lovable I am, just watch the show. You'll get to learn how awesome I really am, just so you know. And my guest thinks so tonight, just so you know. Anyway, hey, I want to let you guys know that tonight's show is, well, I don't know. It might be a little bit controversial because dieting or exercise or nutrition and all that stuff is often controversial, right? And by the way, hi Tracy, you want to say hi? Hi Trace, nice to see you. Hi Melanie, another one super fan. Whoever's watching on Facebook, hello people, the lovers of the show, the haters of the show. Thank you for tuning in, whoever you are. I guarantee, this is one thing I can guarantee y'all, is that you eat, don't you? Yeah, you do. Of course you do, because you gotta live. And if you don't eat, then you can't live. And actually, the Bible says if you don't work, you shouldn't eat. That's just an aside, though. So tonight, what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about nutrition and how to have a healthy body. Right, we have an awesome guest. She's been on our show. I don't know how many times she's already been on, but she's been on quite a few times. Her name is Dr. Lisa Solcente, and you'll understand. She looks like her name. You know, she's Italian. Are you Italian? Yeah, she's Italian. With a name like Solcente, it has to be good. Anyway, she lives in the New Jersey area. She's a nutritionist and a chiropractor and a believer in Jesus. And so she's going to talk to us about nutrition, our body, maybe even how our faith correlates to it. But we're going to talk about the keto diet versus the kind gut diet, which is something that Lisa has put together. And so if you actually have any questions during this show about nutrition, what to eat, blah, blah, etc., and I meant that in the sweetest blah blah etc. way as possible, then feel free to put it in the comments either on Facebook or Periscope, because then I'll be able to see it. All right? So there you have it. And who else just came in here? Let's see. Oh, Nadine. Hi Nadine. Nice to see you, girl. All right. And Mia, hello, number 2 super fan of the world. Mia is in the house. Yeah, she is. Tracy is. Okay, all right. So all you guys are awesome. Do me a favor, if you don't mind, share this out on Facebook and Twitter or wherever fine social media outlet you have. If you're on YouTube and you happen to be watching the archive or currently, feel free to share it out too. And Stephen, welcome to the show as well. Also want to say tomorrow, don't forget, is Free for All Friday, which means we're not going to have a guest, but we're going to talk about fun stuff. Yeah, we will. I might actually take some time to read you some inflammatory comments we're getting recently from our show audience. Well, from some people who don't like our show. I know it's hard to believe. There's a couple out there who think that we should be wiped off the face of the planet. But anyway, that's all right. And Denise, hey, is that Denise? Denise is in the house watching over on Facebook. So thank you for coming in, Denise. Appreciate that. Let's see here. Desert Liz, nice to have you. Henson, thank you for sharing on Twitter. And remember, you're no one if you're not on Twitter. That's an old song, just so you know. All right. So like I said, my guest tonight is Dr. Lisa Solcente. She is a chiropractor and a nutritionist and a good friend of mine, actually. And she has actually helped me to up my game nutritionally, as well as my friend Denise Smith, who was on here a couple of weeks ago talking about the Rice Project. And anyway, but Lisa's here tonight because she's getting ready to, well, she's working on a brand new book. I think it's called The Kind Diet?
Kitchen.
The Kind Kitchen. Yeah, so Lisa, come on screen. Are you already there? I guess
Already here.
You're
I
already
think
there.
I'm here.
You are. Well, so welcome to the show.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you fine. Hey, it's great to have you back. You know what? It's so funny. I feel like I know you because we talk so often, and it's like, but I've never actually met you in person yet, so it's kind of weird to.
Oh, that's going to be fun when we do.
Yeah, well, because we're both short, right? How tall are you? You're like.
I'm 5'7".
Oh, you're taller than me. Okay, well, I'm, as Vicky would say, I'm a shrimp.
Well, she's tall.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was watching an old replay, and she kept referring to me as short people are shrimps. Yeah.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'4".
That's, I don't want to say shrimp, but
To her.
to her, yeah, she's really tall. I'm in the middle.
Anyway, okay, so there might be somebody on new who don't know who you are yet. And Cheryl, people don't like you. They're crazy. I know, right?
What?
Somebody commented, people don't like you. They are crazy. Oh. Well, I wouldn't say crazy. I would just say they're not informed. But okay, so Lisa, tell everybody a little about your background, because I love you and I love your background, and I want people to know you and to work with you. And I really do, because I think you're awesome. Yeah. And wait, hold on just a second. Melanie's saying she's 5'2", and Mia's shorter than that.
Oh.
So we have a shrimpy audience. So.
Oh, thanks for having me. I love talking to you.
Yeah.
I know you like my story. My story, gosh, I have a long story, but my story basically is I am a chiropractor, but before that, I went to my undergraduate work as to get my degree in nutrition and dietetics. And back then, it was very medicinal. I mean, it was one of the first nutrition schools there were. And now they're all over the place, and they're online, and they're integrative this and wellness that. But back then, you know, I'm not going to age myself, but we're one of the first nutrition colleges out there. And very medicinal. But when I went to chiropractic school, I traveled out to the West Coast, which we have in common, you and I. And I ended up in Northern California. So put a Jersey girl in Northern California, and it was like being on another planet. And I get into a school where, you know, women, if they had a baby, they would have the baby strapped, you know, breastfeeding. And if you go to their houses, they're growing their own food. And I really, really got into a world of organic living and firsthand just being around, you know, home births. And it was just beautiful experience. But, you know, you go back to Jersey and it's like, it like doesn't exist. This is going back, you know, years ago.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot, and I have to say I learned a lot through chiropractic school and through living in Northern California with all the women that just taught me so much, and men, but, you know, primarily the women. And so then I come back to New Jersey, and that was more to be with family. I can't say it was for a living healthy style or anything like that. And my husband and I are both chiropractors, and we're both from here. And we have kids. We opened up a practice, and this is how crazy New Jersey was. I couldn't practice nutrition and chiropractic together. So I had to choose. By law, I wasn't allowed to do both. So I chose chiropractic because that was really where all my time and money went towards a degree in that. And so then I had a child. I had 3 boys, but my middle son, at this time, we're going back 10 years, where they didn't really know what Asperger's was or autism spectrum was, but he had very major difficulties with school, and my life became quite hellacious, actually, where he didn't finish school. He couldn't complete 3 hours of a class or of a day. And going from this doctor to that doctor to this therapist to that therapist. And I found myself quickly in the world of Asperger's, and with basically no one knowing what it is or what to do with these children. And I just assumed, you know, education knew what to do with special ed kids. You know, I just assumed that, you know, if you went to an occupational therapist, they knew what to do. Because if you come to a chiropractor, I kind of know what to do.
Right.
So it was really a very bizarre world to end up in. And nutritionally, I started hearing, oh, don't give them gluten, or don't give them dyes, or don't give them this or that. And you can't, as you know, Stacey, now that you know me, you can't just tell me not to do something and kind of not explain why.
Right.
Even biblically, I still question things. I'm like, explain this to me. And so I got back to my nutrition roots and went to a lot of seminars, and I started hearing about what's called the leaky gut. And I was like, okay, what is this? And there was this, what we call a gut-brain connection, which I'll get into as we talk. But that's basically my journey. Is I basically helped my son overcome autism spectrum disorders, or Asperger's, as we know it, all the challenges that came with it. And then I started implementing it in my practice. And not only do I help kids now today overcome challenges, but we took the leaky gut, and we also took functional nutrition, and I combined the two into what's called the kind gut. And it's helping autoimmune disorders, fibromyalgia, migraines, polycystic ovary syndrome, a plethora of really chronic health issues. So talk about a blessing. Like, talk about having a hellacious journey that actually was a gift,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's very interesting. And we actually had a question from Melanie. Melanie wanted to know, what was the reasoning for the law that you couldn't practice the chiropractic and nutritionist thing?
Well, my New Jersey State Board, it was run by chiropractors, decided that they didn't want chiropractors practicing nutrition. I'm not too sure. We actually shot ourselves in the foot with our own law. But a few years ago, they decided, wow, we can actually make money doing this. So they actually put the law, into play, where chiropractors can do nutrition now. So it was really what came in with my own state board, and I couldn't answer why, because
Gotcha.
It was stupid.
Well, as you know,
I swear now if they're listening to this, they would actually agree, because they're all selling supplements now.
Well, yeah. Well, and you know what? I've always associated chiropractors with nutrition for me.
Know. Yeah.
I mean, I always have. I don't even see the disconnect. There's a complete connect there.
I have a family chiropractic. They were right down the street. She's actually big with isogenics now, and she was doing nutrition, and she actually she chose to give up her chiropractic license to go into, she had her nutrition degree like me. She gave up her chiropractic license, and she is now really a big wig with isogenics. She is one of the top nutritionists for them. But she had to choose. And to me, it was a disgrace. I was like, for her, like, why would you have to give up your doctorate license because of nutrition? It makes no sense. I mean, and today it's really frustrating when you see people just become health coaches online, when meanwhile we couldn't even use our 2 degrees together, So yeah. I have no answer why they did that to us.
I can understand that frustration, especially with health coaches, if they don't have any type of training and they're just saying, hey, I'm a health coach for the heck of it. It's, to me, as a clinically trained marriage and family therapist, when I see a life coach, and I go, what, you're like 22 years old and you're a life coach? Okay. And you're charging $500 a session? How is that possible? But, I have to say, honestly, I hope that the life coaching stuff and all that, I hope it stays unregulated, because when it becomes regulated, it's going to be a pain in the butt. Me
too. I hope it stays unregulated too.
It just will. But I find it a little bit kind of insulting sometimes when I see people who are like, oh, here's my shingle. And I'm like, okay, I have like a master's degree, and I can talk to you for 5 minutes and give you an idea what your problem is. Just so you know. Yeah, I know. And you know what that's like too. Just, talk to somebody about their food and their life or whatever. You kind of get it too. So I get it.
Yeah.
By the way, one of Lisa's nicknames for me is I'm her godly mother.
Yes, she's my godly mother.
Isn't that sweet? Aw.
I was reading the Bible last night, and it said that I should thank, I think it was in Romans, I can't remember because I was all over the place, but it said that you should thank anyone that has helped you along your Christian journey, and I should give you a gift and thank you. So I'll send you a gift, but I'm going to thank you right now.
Aw.
For helping along my Christian journey.
That's very cool. See, hey, you know what? I love her because she's so passionate for Christ, you know, and that's so cool. It's very cool to see that. Hey, and Beth is in the house from Australia. Hey, Beth, nice to see you, my friend. Yeah, we defended you recently, just so you know. Okay, so Lisa, let's talk about the fish in the water. That's not even really the analogy I'm trying to use.
Elephant in the room.
Elephant in the room. There you go.
In the room.
That's what it was. Okay, the elephant. I'm sorry. I've had a long day, people. Just so you know, I spent almost 6 hours with my dad today doing assisted living stuff. So I'm emotionally zapped. So I'm a little. But anyway, okay. So the elephant in the room is there's this new. It's not really new, but it seems to be like on the scene right now, the keto diet, right? And I know you and me have talked about this a little bit because, you know, we have a lot of people who are doing it. So tell everybody what that is in case nobody knows, to the best of your knowledge, and you don't have to go in depth. You know, I know you're not an expert at it, but I want you to explain what it kind of is and then explain your kind kitchen diet thingy that you're doing.
Okay. Well, yeah. So I'm not an expert in ketogenic. It's nothing that I offer or do with anyone. And before I even begin, I'm not bashing it because there are just certain diets that work for certain people, but and that's fine. But the ketogenic idea is basically that you're going to eat a high amount of fat, a very, very high amount of fat, and then a very maybe about 15% protein and about 5% carbs. So that's their idea, is really to eat a lot of fat. So your body is actually going to burn ketones instead of the glucose it would from carbs. It's really trying to get you off of carbs and getting your body to utilize the fat that you would be eating. And that's really the premise of it. I don't use it because it's not my thinking. I am not afraid of carbohydrates. I actually think most of your vitamins and your minerals and your nutrients are in fruits and vegetables. I've been in nutrition for over 20 years, and I've worked with plenty of diabetic people, which is where you would really be looking at carbohydrates. And it's just, my diet has always worked really, really well. And it's a different thinking than theirs. That's all I can really say about there. I just wouldn't put anybody on a high fat diet. There's just no, you're not eating bacon on my diet. So there's no way around it. There's no, you know, when we're cleaning up high cholesterol, when we're dealing with people with open heart surgery, which I've done, I've had people with valve replacements. I've had people with, you know, high insulin, getting insulin injections, high glucose. I never put them on a high fat diet. You know, we did a very stabilized blood sugar type of diet. I do it a very specific way, and they all do fantastic. So the blood work to me always kind of, with ketogenic, I'd love to see the blood work, to be honest with you. If you're going to take somebody with crazy lab numbers and then put them on ketogenic and then it comes totally normal, then, you know, that would be a great conversation to have, but I haven't seen it yet. Yeah.
Well, and, you know, I think, I think it's interesting because I actually recently learned that with the ketogenic, they recommend 20 grams of carbs and under a day. But the low fat, low carb diet is, I think, like under 100 grams, so between 100 and 20, between 20 and 100, that's a huge difference, you know, in in carbohydrates. So it's just, to me, that's a huge difference. So okay.
Yeah, and you know, I can't explain it. Like, a plant-based diet is really, really important. I don't think that a high meat or a high fat diet is the way to go. I'm not saying healthy fats aren't important. Healthy fats definitely are important. But when you tell somebody they can eat a lot of fat, and you got to realize you're dealing with layman people. I might be able to speak with a doctor about ketogenic and a patient, but when you're telling a layman person, hey, yeah, you could have a ton of fat, they're going to go off. They're not going to, you know what I mean? Like, so many people had an avocado wrapped in bacon. You know, I was like, why did you wrap that in bacon? It was a beautiful green plant that you just put I don't understand that thinking. It's very hard for me. Like, you know, plant-based diet with a little bit of protein in there is truly the way to go. Nuts and seeds, and I would actually be more paleo than ketogenic.
Yeah.
But
So what? Okay. So what's paleo? Explain that in a nutshell. No pun intended.
paleo is more like if you were going to eat like a nomad, like if you were to eat, like I think of paleo like being on a deserted island,
Okay.
like I eat like how I eat is I ask questions like, if you're on a desert island, what would you eat? Nuts and seeds and fish, and you would eat game meat that's pretty lean. You're not going to go to Costco and buy bulk stuff. You're not, so paleo is more of like a nomad type diet.
Okay. So what about turkey bacon?
Nuts, seeds, things like that. They think they eat a little bit too much meat for me.
Okay. What about turkey bacon? Melanie wants to know.
Well, the problem with turkey bacon is if you turn it over, it's got a ton of chemicals in it. So it's not really that pure, so it's one of those things like if you have to eat bacon, I guess, turkey's a better source, but I'm not a big proponent of bacon at all.
I'm not, I used to like bacon a lot. Now I really don't like it at all. Ever since I found out I'm part Jewish, I actually told Randall I'm no longer going to eat bacon.
Right.
Or ham. I don't even like ham. I mean, I'm not a big fan of ham. I think, it's just salty. It's
Again, the problem with ham is there's so many sulfites and nitrates and all this stuff. I mean, there's a lot of, unless you get a pure ham, which is really hard to get. Go to Whole Foods and get a clean ham. It's $1 gazillion.
Yeah.
Ham is just one of the things we don't have in the house. We don't have bacon. We don't do pork.
Yeah.
They're highly processed foods too. And that's another thing about ketogenic. Are the people really eating organic and completely clean? I mean, is it really helping your gut,
Okay, so let's talk good fat, okay? Because I know because of your counsel and my friend Denise's counsel, I actually use coconut oil every day. I cook my eggs in coconut oil. I eat avocados because I love them and I think they're awesome. They taste awesome with salt and pepper on them. Himalayan pink sea salt actually looks really good with avocado. So I know those are two really good fats, but what are some other good fats?
So extra virgin olive oil, obviously organic would be the best, but if you can't get organic, just extra virgin olive oil. What are we talking about? Healthy fats, nuts and seeds. So good, the fat that's in nuts is really healthy. Seeds have a little bit of nuts fat. The thing about nuts and seeds is that you have to be careful with the packaging. A lot of the food, my program is more about really eating real raw whole foods, but also when you go into the store, you've got to read what man has done to food. There's God food, but then there's man food. So if you were to eat nuts that have healthy fats in them, got to turn the package over. And you got to make sure there's no salt in there, that there's no sugar in there, that if they roasted them, they didn't roast them in bad fats, right? Hydrogenated oils, partially hydrogenated oils. So obviously if you had a walnut, you just cracked it open, that's the best form. But man has altered so many foods.
Okay, what about avocado?
This is a good fat. Fish oils, the oil that's inside fish.
Yeah, I actually just got fish oil sent to me today that I ordered because Denise recommended some to me. But Beth, who is in Australia, she said, what about avocado oil? I know that's kind of become...
Yeah, that's a good fat. That's good. Yeah.
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 And where do they get the oil in avocado?
They take the fat out of it.
Oh.
Just like nuts.
Gotcha.
They kind of squeeze it out. Yeah, they take the fat out. Yeah.
Okay. Now I know that there's some.
I always wonder when you see like a sesame oil or something. You're like, how many do these take?
Well, we were just talking about fish oil. How do they get the fish? How do they get the oil out of the fish? Did they take the fish and use a rolling pin over it and squeeze oil out that way, or?
Well, here's a little tidbit. Cold water fish is better because they're in cold water. They have a layer of oil between their she's laughing, between their meat and their skin, and that's the fish oil there.
Oh,
that's
okay.
Is that?
Yeah, I'll have to send you the picture.
We'll have to research how they make all their fats.
Yeah.
I'll probably never eat it.
Okay, so it's almost 7:30, which means that it's the bottom of the hour. So those of you who are in the chat room, if you guys have any questions for Lisa on anything nutrition, or even I know you haven't, do you feel comfortable answering any questions about what the Bible says about food and stuff? I know you were ranting and raving to me a couple weeks about that.
We can do that. Do you want me to explain the kind gut and then?
Yeah, you can do that. Okay, do that, but only after. Okay, we got to thank our sponsors first. Okay. So first, I want to thank our pillars of the community. I want to thank you, all you guys who are pillars and who donate. Those of you who have donated and you're not pillars, you're just as important. If not, I mean, you are. All of you are important. Just so you know. Last night, Stephen Black, who was our guest, became a pillar of the community, and so we're really thankful that's growing. And so, if you want to be a part of that, just go over to BibleNewsRadio.com/give, set up a reoccurring payment. We suggest $25, but hey, if you don't have that in your budget, then anything is good. I know some of you give more than that. Some of you give that. Some of you give occasionally, and I appreciate all of it. So we want to thank all of you. And just encourage you, hey, what you see here is what you get. Consider it my little panhandling begging jar for all the value that we give you. Yeah, it is. It's great, awesome value. We have awesome guests, man. I'm telling you, I bring in the best people. Okay, and then also, let's see here. Oh yeah, our giveaway, our Bible teaching this month from Ariel is called Demonology. And so if you go over to our website, which Bareface brought up perfectly on time because he's so awesome, go over there, go to the resources page at BibleNewsRadio.com, and right there in the middle of the page is Demonology, the Doctrine of Fallen Angels. Lisa, you're going to love this if you've never seen that before. Click on that. All you got to do is click on it. It downloads automatically. You don't need to put in an email. But if you want to put in an email address, go ahead and join my email list while you were at it. Melanie, you're so funny. Oh, yeah. See how that popped up? That's brilliant. Then you'll get an email from me every day with commentary. Also, you'll see there on our website, there is also the Bullhorn app. Okay, Bullhorn is a new mobile app that I'm helping them to develop. I'm not actually doing any of the developing. I'm a end user, and I'm trying to help them tell them what good things will be a part of it. And I really want you to join it. This is owned by a Christian company. freeconferencecall.com is behind it. And I put a 10-minute little devotion or news piece on there every morning, just so you know. Like I did, I talked this morning about the wicked bills in California that are coming out. In my email, it was in there. So you guys, if you're in California or know people in California, you need to get that info and take action because they're really doing some weird things there, which is why I left the state of California. It's part of the reason why Lisa left too. But yeah, they're pretty evil there. But there are a few good people still in California, a handful, just so you know. No, I'm just kidding. No, there's more than a few. There's maybe 20. No, I'm kidding. Maybe 20,000. No, I don't know. Okay, I'll be quiet about that. Okay, anyway, just download the app, Bullhorn. Go to your mobile store, download it, then follow me at Bible News Radio. Okay, and then don't forget, use Bible News as the coupon code when you buy anything at the Ariel website. ariel.org is our sponsor. This is the Messianic Jewish Ministry of Dr. Arnold Fruchtenbaum.
And others.
And we use the coupon code Bible News. Model Balston, who is our guest. By the way, he is going to be our guest next week, people. Messianic rabbi teacher. He's not really a rabbi. Technically, he's not a rabbi anymore. He's just a Messianic Bible teacher. But he is going to be here next week to talk about Passover. Yeah, he is. And now that I know I'm Jewish, it has even more significance for me personally. And anyway, but some of his teachings are on my website. So go check that out. And if you want, then save money by using Bible News as the coupon code. All right, I think that's it. That's it. Okay, so if you just joined us, or you didn't, or you happen to still be here because you love us so much, our guest tonight is Dr. Lisa Sulcente, who is Italian. Yeah, she is. And anyway, she is a nutritionist and a chiropractor. Is she shaking her head? I know. I'll stop. Randall's going like this to me. Just so you know, I get all these signs. From Randall.
When I want her to steal third or stay. No.
Yeah. Hey, there he is.
No, she has a habit of looking down away from the camera.
I know. It's because I'm trying to look at my guest, but it's hard to look at the camera when my guest is down there. And okay, anyway.
Well, we need to share the camera between the two things. So, anyway.
Yes.
As you were.
Okay, so Lisa has the leaky gut diet, but then now it's what, the kind gut diet?
Yeah, the kind gut diet.
And you're writing a book called The Kind Kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is so cool. That is so neat. I actually went on your website, which is drlisasolcente.com, right?
Yeah.
Is there an easier way to get there? Or is that it?
No, you gotta learn how to spell it.
Yeah. It's SULSENTI. Lisa's LYSA. No, I'm just kidding. It's LISA.
DrLisaSolcente.com. Once you type it, you get it.
I'm so picking on you. Okay, so tell us about
it. I'm used to it.
Actually, Beth has a question about kombucha or kombucha. Pro or neutral? If pro, are all scobies the same, or do different colonies have different probiotics? I tries kefir and just couldn't get past the taste, whereas I love my booch.
Booch?
Yes.
Here. This one I like. I like the cranberry because I like sweet. So kombucha is pretty good unless you have candida. If you have a candida issue, then this has yeast in it. So you would want to cut this. We'd want to wait on this. You know, my stage 1 testing for leaky gut is I see if you have candida in the gut, which is we all have yeast in our gut. But if you have an overgrowth of yeast, you want to make sure the stage 1 of my program is that we cut back on the yeast. So, but kombucha is actually really good. It's a probiotic food. And what they do is you'd have what they call a SCOBY, or a bacteria growing in here, almost like when you're fermenting, you know, wine or cheese or something like that. But basically it's in here. It's like a vinegary drink, and it ferments and it gives off a probiotic, but it also has organic acids in here, some enzymes in here. So it's really, really healthy. This one is got some cranberry flavor. This one's got blueberry.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to have to try the blueberry. I remember the very first time I tried kombucha. By the way, Beth says she makes her own.
That's the best way to do it.
It was actually, I did it on Periscope. I tried it on Periscope because I was kind of like, ooh, what is this stuff? And it was actually good. And I have to tell you, honestly, everybody, that my energy level went through the roof. I was shocked. I mean, I have a thyroid problem, which has been a pain in the butt. No, not literally, but yeah, I have a dumb thyroid that just won't work right. But I drank that, and I don't generally have a problem with energy. But man, I remember when I was drinking that kombucha stuff, I definitely had a lot of energy.
Yeah, kombucha's good, especially if you make your own, because then it's you know what's in it, and you know that it's super healthy. So the kind gut diet it's different from ketogenic because I'm focusing on your gut. I'm focusing on what is going on in your gut. So a leaky gut is that you could be eating certain foods that your body's actually attacking. So your gut is about 27 feet long, and inside it is your immune system. You know, 70% of they say 70 to 80% of your immune system's in your gut. And when you're eating certain foods, your body actually can not recognize the protein structure in the food. And what it does is it thinks it's foreign and it starts attacking it. And when it attacks it, you actually get a full-blown immune system. You know, it's like a storm. I call it a storm, or, you know, an army attack on this food, and it's trying to get rid of it. And unfortunately, what happens during the storm is it gives off bad particles like cytokines, which think of like Pac-Man. And they actually will go and start attacking the walls of your gut, the cell walls. And what they do is they can actually break through the cell walls, and they can leak out of the gut and get into the bloodstream. So if you have cytokines floating around in your bloodstream, they can go anywhere. They can go into your muscles. They can go to your joints. They can go to your brain. They can go to your ovaries. They can go wherever they have thyroid. So that's the problem, is now you have a full-blown kind of a attack going on within the body, but it's definitely inflammatory. And it's still going on in the gut because you're eating a food that you don't know is being attacked, and you're constantly eating that food that you like. And so it becomes a chronic, full-blown, you know, immune system attack within your gut that actually can leak out and go distally, which is why we deal with a lot of other, that's why a lot of health issues clear up once you heal the gut and you figure out which food is the bad food. It could be several foods. The other thing that could happen is we do lab testing for food sensitivities. We do food allergy testing. We test wheat testing. We do gluten. And that's because if we see these antibodies floating around in the blood, we know the body is attacking proteins from like gluten, from wheat, from, let's say, apples or oranges or whatever shouldn't be in your blood. I now know it's leaked out. The kind gut also involves testing if you wanted to do it. It actually would look, when you break the actual walls, the cell walls of your gut, you're giving off things like proteins and little structures called zonulin and actin and these other things that should not be in the blood, but they should be in the gut. And so that's when we start seeing these things in your blood that shouldn't be in there. We know that you have a leaky gut. We know that you have damage in the gut, and we know that it's going distally out into the body. So it's a different approach than ketogenic, where I mean, it's not that that doesn't work. It's just that they're trying to burn fat. They're trying to get the body to utilize ketones. Mm-hmm. And I'm not into that. I'm into what is going on in your gut. Why is your body creating this big storm in your gut? Why are things attacking your gut, and why are things out in the blood that shouldn't be in the blood? You know, and now you're having these reactions, like people that can't deal with wheat or can't deal with gluten or can't have, you know, have all these food sensitivities. It's because the stuff's floating around in their blood and shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
My approach is just very different. My approach is very about health
mm-hmm.
versus I'm going to lose some weight, you know?
Yeah.
It's different.
Well, I think some keto doctors would probably argue that theirs is about health too. But, you know, I mean, you know, to each his own, right? Okay.
But there is a health component into keto because if you clean anybody out of garbage foods and restaurant foods, any diet that's going to get you on, you know, healthy proteins, healthy fat, and healthy carbs, and you no longer eat garbage, you're gonna do well, you know?
Right. Well, I know for me, limiting my carbs and actually becoming aware of what I'm eating, because it's really easy to, and I know I'm not the only one in the world that has, you know, goes, oh, you know what, I only had this for breakfast, and then I had this little thing for lunch, and I had this little thing for dinner. And they're all healthy foods, you know, God made them or whatever. But not understanding that, let's say, for example, they are all carbs for me. Let's say they were all carbs. Let's say I had oatmeal for breakfast with some blueberries. That's all carbs. And let's say for lunch I had a salad, you know,
right.
and for dinner I had, I don't know, let's say like a piece of chicken with more like cauliflower or broccoli or something like that, which are starchier, you know, things. But let's say I added all those carbs up and they were like way higher than I would expect them to be. And I had, let's say, because, you know, a good dinner meal wouldn't be great unless you had chocolate pudding for dessert. Okay, let's just say I had that. I didn't, but let's just say that's a typical food thing, you know, oatmeal, blah, 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 blah. And I look at it and go, oh my gosh, I had no idea that my carbs are this much compared to the protein and the good fat. For me, actually looking at the carbohydrate content that I've been eating has made a huge difference. Not so much because of weight loss or anything like that. I mean, I've lost some weight, but because of how I actually feel. Right. You know, like I have tons of energy. I mean, I usually have energy anyway, but like a lot of energy. It's like, whoa, I have no energy. My tongue doesn't hurt. You know, the white that was on my tongue like 2 years ago is almost all gone, you know, and all that other, just typical stuff, inflammation in my body. It's like, wow, I don't hurt unless I play too much pickleball, which is, you know, I have to admit, I do.
Good.
Yeah, I do. I got pretty good tennis elbow to prove it. But anyway, yeah, so for me, that's the issue. And I think, so there's a lot of behavioral things that you have to like put into place, don't you think, with whatever it is that you try to eat, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's good behavior and bad behavior, you know, so it's hard. That's the hard part, I think, is breaking bad behavior habits and then creating good ones, you know. So yeah, and if that's helping you, is, you know, I'm not afraid of salads. I'm just not afraid of salads. I've dealt with like cancer patients, and there's nothing better than getting the greens in there and getting all of the vegetables and the fruits in there. The other thing too is, which is really interesting about the kind gut, is I test vitamin deficiencies. I test over 30 vitamins and minerals, and I look for deficiencies. And that's really, really cool because, you know, basically the people with the high plant-based diet actually do really well on these tests, you know?
Okay, so I actually read in one of your emails, you were actually talking about how, I don't know if I should bring this up.
Oh no. My poop?
Yes, exactly. You were talking. Well, yeah, and you know, I'm curious because, you know, because what you said in your email, she wrote an email talking about how she had her poop analyzed, right, for whatever it was, and it really helped. Right? So, I mean, hey, Oprah's talked about it, so why don't we all talk? Okay, people, we're talking it now. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so what happened was I eat a plant-based diet. I mean, I do sprinkle in, I used to be vegetarian, but I do sprinkle in some chicken, and, you know, that's probably the only meat I really eat. Sometimes we have some grass-fed beef, but I'm just really not a meat person. And the only deficiency I had was vitamin K. And I actually had some bleeding issues. I really was having some major bleeding issues. So I thought that was kind of, you know, cool to see, like, oh, I'm having this health symptom, and this vitamin that I'm deficient in actually goes with that.
Makes sense.
So yeah. So so I don't really eat. I think I don't eat a lot. Vitamin K is not easy to get in food.
Well, and isn't vitamin K the thing that it creates coagulation in your blood, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it helps with clotting. And if you're low in D and you can't get your D up, get your K tested. That's one thing that I'm big about, is because a lot of people keep eating foods with D, or they keep doctors keep prescribing D, but nobody check K. If K is in the tank, D can't come up, you know? So those are two that go together, like A, D, K you want to look at. But anyway, I would read something about getting your poop, getting your poop checked, and what they do with the poop. I took this test on myself. I absolutely loved it, and now I offer it. So they test over 100 bacteria in your gut. They do it by poop. They look in your stool, and they test over 100 bacteria. So they look at candida and yeast and stuff like that. But what they did, and I was like, all right, I didn't tell anybody. I was like, let me see if this really works. I wanted to see if I have it right here. If the bacteria that you have in your gut that you need to produce K, they're called K-producing gut bacteria. They're actually bugs in your gut that produce vitamin K. Technically mine should be low, right? And that's what I got back was I was so excited to see that I'm having such a hard time bringing up K, but what should I have been focusing on was my gut, right? Mm-hmm. And that's why I love the kind gut, and why all other diets, although they do serve purposes and they do help people, I just love mine, because mine is like really looking at cells and looking at gut and looking at bacteria and looking at the person as a whole versus just, hey, what are you eating? So wait, where is it? I'm so excited about it. I have to show you.
Well, no, I think this is cool because I actually read your email, just so you know. And I almost emailed you about your email, but I thought, no, I'll ask you here.
Wait. Can you see it? You see how, I don't know if you can see the color, but these oh God, it's so backwards.
Yeah.
This is K producing bacteria right here. And I'm low in, I guess, 3 out of the 5. Right?
Okay.
Right.
And then if you look at the B's, I'm fine. My B wasn't deficient, so the B's down here are all good, but the K's aren't good. And I was like, So I've got to balance out my gut with the right probiotic, and I have to make sure that I eat certain things. And so I got really excited that.
So one of the things I like about you is that you offer help through online. You have an online availability, right, to help people all over the world or wherever. So how would that work? Like if I wanted to get that test, because I'm very interested in that. I take a probiotic, and I've taken a couple different ones, and I've noticed different things taking different ones, and I'm just curious. And Beth wants to know if you can eat bananas for vitamin K.
Bananas. That's really not the best source for it. If you go to, I do because I've done it with you. Like I do consulting through Skype or FaceTime or Zoom like this or anything like that. So I have patients throughout the whole country. And the best way to do it, because I don't know what your health issue is and I don't really know what avenue or what path I want to go down with it, is to do a consultation with me. So if you go to my website, there is a spot there that you can sign up for a consultation. Ooh, that's so pretty. Look what you did. So yeah, if you just click on the work with me, there'll be an area there where you can sign up for a consultation. If you wanted the poop test, Stacy, what I would do is obviously I know your health issue and I know your condition, so we don't need a consultation. But anybody else that I don't know, I always do a consultation first because I want to know what exactly is going wrong and what I'm looking at, what path I have to take. But it's a kit that I would mail to you and give you instructions on how to poop and get your poop into the little container. And then what you do is you mail it out to the lab and you mail it out through FedEx. And then I get the results. And then we would have a one-on-one session where I would go over the results. So if you wanted to do that, I would have to mail you the poop kit.
Yeah. So how much would something like that cost?
That test is, oh gosh, I think it's $199. The test.
So $200 basically.
Yeah.
Okay, but that would be worth it, right? If it actually helped pinpoint exactly what you need. But
yeah, it's one of those tests that some people want straight in the front. They want to know, like right off the bat. And then some people go through the Kind Gut program. And then at the end, they might be like, you know what? I'm doing really great, but there's just one piece missing. And they'll go for the poop test. For example, I just got mine done because there was one piece missing. Like I just couldn't get this K. I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, what's wrong with my K? And so I went further, right?
Right.
Just because I didn't have the test in the beginning.
Sure.
And then I just had a patient that came back to me after a year. She was doing great. And she's like, I have these headaches. I can't, there's something not right. So we did the poop test and it turns out she has her candida's back. So she really has to work on that. So, I mean, she's never going to feel really well with candida. That can make you feel like you have the flu. So, and she went on a cruise and she was boating all summer. So, you know, how well was she really eating? But
right. Well, on a cruise, it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She cannot have gluten or wheat at all. Like she tested really bad for those. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, but that's cool because you know, why be on a gluten-free diet if you don't have to be? Like, you know what I mean? Why would you avoid wheat or dairy or milk if you don't have to? So, you know, I have people that test that they really cannot have those things because their body attacks it when they eat it.
Well, and I know for me, like even with doing keto, like a lot of dairy is like encouraged on the keto diet.
And that was the other part.
Yeah,
I do not allow dairy at all.
Yeah,
it's so inflammatory.
I am very sensitive to that myself. I mean, I can eat it, but I definitely find a huge difference in my body and in my allergies when I indulge in cheese or something like that. So I have to be very limited with it. I can eat things like in very little doses, but not like Randall. He could eat it every day. Me, no way. There's no way.
You know Chris Carr? She's she's really big with she's had cancer for years, and I know she might be vegan, but she's no animal. She's all plants, and her whole story is keeping her cancer at bay through eating plants. But she has a book, and if you read it, it's phenomenal. But she has this part on milk, and she calls it pus. She's like, it's like the white pus from the cow, and it's just funny, but kind of gross. But
well, that's good to know. Well, yeah. I mean, I know I don't eat nearly as much meat as I used to, and I feel better.
That's another thing. When I was in chiropractic school, we went to a bunch of seminars in Wisconsin, and the doctors there worked at Mayo Clinic and all over the place. And there were studies that they did autopsy on people with diabetes, and they even did children with juvenile, like all different types of people. And they were basically saying that people with diabetes had a lot of animal protein, like their body never cleared it of animals. They just had tons of animal left over in their guts. So that's kind of gross. Like,
and
you don't need to eat a lot of it. It's not that we can't eat it, but you don't need a lot of it because it stays in your gut.
Now, what about eggs? Because I tend to eat a ton of eggs.
So eggs is allowed on my diet unless you test poorly for it. So I just had a person that she can't handle the yolk, you know, and she knows it. When she eats it, she just can't handle it. She told me, she goes, when I have eggs, I feel like she gets these symptoms. Mm-hmm. So I tested her for it, and I was like, yeah, you're right, you know, so.
Yeah. So if
it doesn't bother you, just listen, what could bother me might not necessarily bother you.
Right. Well, and that's why, and that's one point I want to get across is like, we're all individuals. We all have different DNA. You know, we're all unique. I mean, I was on Lisa's diet. One of the things she was encouraging me to eat was green apples. And I was like, you know what? After a while, I finally told her, I said, man, my tongue is killing me eating these apples. I mean, it's just killing me. I don't get it. It's like and I never liked green apples. That's the thing. I always went for the red apple, but she's like, no, eat green apples. And I'm like, okay. And I did, and my tongue was killing me. I was telling her, I said, Lisa, my tongue is killing me. It hurts like hell.
Right.
You know?
Don't eat green apples.
Yeah. So then Lisa's like, it sounds like you're allergic to them. Don't eat. And I'm like, oh. Well, why didn't you tell? And you know, it's so funny now. I have to tell you this. I am so sensitive. I call this the tongue sensitivity test. I don't know if that's what you call it, but for me, I know that if my tongue hurts after I eat something, I shouldn't be eating it. I mean, I am so sensitive to how my tongue feels. I'll give you a perfect example. I went to my dad's assisted living. It was about 2 weeks ago. And they always have little snacks for everybody. They, in a little bucket. And of course, I was really hungry that day. And I took a bag of, it was, a little snack of like 2 cookies. It was 2 chocolate chip cookies, but they were sugar-free. And what was the other one? I think it was lemon cookies. There was 3 I took, and those were, quote, sugar-free. Hadn't eaten all day. I could tell my blood sugar was low. So I thought, well, I'll go ahead and eat these on the way home. And so long story short, I ate this cookie. And Randall's like, what's in that? And I'm like, because he was driving. I'm like, I don't know. So, and then I ate the other one. I turned it over, and there was a fake sweetener in there. I forgot do you remember what it was, Randall? Xylitol or something? I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
But anyway, whatever it was, literally within the hour, my tongue was killing me. And I laughed. Because Randall was like, should you be eating that? And I'm like, well, I'm hungry. It doesn't matter. Blah. But I ate it, and like literally within the hour, my tongue started to hurt. And I was like, dang it. I wasn't even within the hour. It was like right after, right, Randall? I was like, oh, great. My tongue's hurting now. And I was like, okay. And so today I was there. I didn't take anything. I was like, nope, I ain't going there because I don't like it when my tongue hurts. It hurts. So he just gave me the 2-minute signal. So, now we have 1 minute. Okay. So
we can't talk about God in 1 minute.
Oh, we can't talk about God in 1 minute. Okay. Well, we'll just have to save that for the next time then, right?
The rant. My rant.
Well, go ahead and give us the mini rant. That's all right.
Well, I guess I was just concerned because a lot of my Christian friends don't eat well. And of course, that bothers me because I want them to be healthy. And, so when they get sick or they don't feel well, they ask for prayers, which is totally fine. But I don't understand, and I was asking Stacy this. I was like, how come we are, first of all, our bodies are a gift from God, and food is a gift from God. And I don't understand how we don't relate that gift. Like, I don't understand how we don't see what we eat as, and when we choose to eat poorly and we choose to eat foods that could harm our bodies, how we don't see that as a sin, or we don't see that as something kind of bad towards God, So that was the conversation that Stacey and I were having because I don't get it. Like, alcohol's bad for the body, but so is, McDonald's.
Yeah.
So I don't understand. I have a hard time grasping how Christians don't put the connection together.
Well, and they say some sins are acceptable. You know what I mean? And really, I'm not saying that to be flippant, but I think it's true. I think that there is that blindness, or there's no, I don't want to deal with it. And yeah, I think this would be a great show topic for the next time we have you on, talking about the curse of food, because it all began with food, right? When Eve, Adam and Eve, they bit the fruit, the forbidden fruit. It was We don't know if it was an apple.
And isn't it interesting that Genesis opens up with the first food he gives us is plants?
Yes.
Not animals.
That's right. Which me and Randall have been really seriously talking about that whole thing and all that. So
I think that's fascinating too.
yeah, so you guys put a 1 if you think it would be fun to have Lisa talking about that on the next show. And I do. I think it's cool. And it's challenging. It's convicting to a lot of us, right? Yeah, it is, because there's nothing but crap in the store for the most part. So you got to be very...
Yeah, it probably wasn't an issue back then because they didn't go to Costco.
Right, exactly.
You know?
So, yeah. Okay, so Lisa, tell everybody how they can get a hold of you if they want to do a consult with you or anything and all that other stuff.
The best thing to do is go to my website, which is drlisasolsenti.com, which I think's below. And you can take a quiz right there. I have a leaky gut quiz. If you just click on take the quiz, right, the website pops up. You can see if you have a leaky gut, and then I will answer and tell you what your results are, and we can connect from there. If you want to have a consult right away, just click on the work with me section, and we can set up a consultation.
Okay. Do you do a free consult, or does it cost money?
It costs money.
Okay.
I spend a whole hour, and it's very in depth.
Okay. All right. So people be prepared to open your wallet.
The quiz doesn't. If you want something free, just do the quiz.
Okay. Okay, that's good to know. Okay. And trust me, she's worth it. Okay. My life has changed because of her help, and I know others too. So, all right. Well, Lisa, thank you. Don't hang up there, though. Everybody else, I want you to know that I appreciate you guys tuning in, and thank you. I hope this has been helpful. We got a couple of ones I saw come through, so they definitely are interested in that other topic. But we'll book Lisa as soon as we can next time. All right, you guys, tomorrow is Free for All Friday, and yeah, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Remember, be bold, stand up, and go with God because he loves you, just so you know. Okay.